be right back. Hey Martin, how's it going today? I do not watch any of the Real Housewives. Do you, Amber? Hey, they fixed it. They fixed it. No. Now we're going to have a good radio show because my mic's fixed. Martin wants to know which ones. She can't talk right now, Martin. I've got her on mute.
Stay tuned for more smooth jazz on Soft Serve after these messages.
We are Radio Lex, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
You are listening to Soft Serve, a sweet set of smooth jazz to ease off the edges of your day.
And I am with the Lextropolis magazine, and you are listening to Radio Lex, the voice of the people, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome everybody to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening to us on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can download the Radio Lex app on your smartphone device to listen to us anywhere in the entire world. You can also go to our station website at radiolex.us to stream the show. Amber Turner is broadcasting from her home studio, and I am broadcasting from the WLXU studios here in Lexington. Amber, I have mentioned before, I think 2 weeks ago when we came on the air, I was giving the audience and you an update on building my house, and I told you that I did not have any good luck at all when it come to picking the property.
Yeah.
Yes.
So does that mean you got an update?
And let's see if we have any mic problems. Amber, speak into the mic.
Can you hear me?
Ooh, you sound so crisp and so good. At first, I was getting a little worried because I didn't even hear you at all coming into the show, but now you sound great.
You put me on lockdown and put me on mute.
I know. Well,
Foxy muted me.
Well, I think last time some people were saying that they could hear me and you through the commercial break. So the last thing we need is a hot mic to take place. So that's the last thing we need. But yes.
Okay, but wait. So does that mean that you have an update about your house?
So yes, I do have an update to give everybody. I do officially have a piece of property to start building a house.
Hey.
So yes, I do have a piece of property. It's going to be off of Newtown, so it's going to be the north end of Lexington.
Okay.
And yes, so I finally found a piece of property to build a house. But now I'm at that point to where I'm building, I have to pick out everything that goes into my house. I've never looked at so many backsplashes and kitchen cabinets and countertops in all my life. It's very overwhelming.
Well, it is definitely overwhelming, but please just confirm for me that this is like one of the best times of your life right now, and that it wasn't just me.
It is very exciting. Of course, I'm very anxious because it is a large purchase. It's the largest purchase that I've ever made.
As it should be.
Handing over that much money at once when it comes time to do so on closing day, that's going to be a hard day for me. I'm going to be nervous. Don't let me talk myself out of it.
I will not, because you got to realize what you're getting. You are getting your own space, and there is nothing like going from a smaller apartment into a house that you can just stretch your legs out in.
Stretch my legs out. Exactly. I'm sick of renting. I'm sick of sharing walls and floors and ceilings with neighbors. I'm ready to have my own place. Plus, rent here in this city is ridiculous.
It is outrageous.
It is outrageous, and I don't care to tell people how much I spend. I spend $1,100 a month on a one-bedroom apartment. So anyone who has anything to say about my house payment being expensive, look at what I pay in rent first before you judge me on the mortgage of my home.
I mean, I should go on the record and say that your apartment is quite possibly one of the nicest apartments I've been in, so money well spent, but you realize that's more than I pay for not only my house, but like all of my utilities in a month.
I have had some ridiculous comments made at me, though, since I started building this journey. Since I started this journey of building, one of the stupidest comments that I've gotten was somebody asked me why I was buying a house because I'm single and not married with kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I said, where am I supposed to live, dude? Am I supposed to live in a cardboard box?
I mean, I guess you can be a traveling gypsy since you ain't got nothing tying you down.
Yeah, that was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard. So, is single people not supposed to live in houses?
Apparently not.
Is that what the logic is? Single people don't live in houses. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Can that be the not slogan going forward in the future, that single people can own homes?
Exactly. And I'm sure I'll hear some more ridiculous comments. Everybody's got a lot to say whenever you make a purchase like that. Oh, that's too big. You don't need all that. Why do you need all that? You got 4 bedrooms. You don't even have any kids.
You're going to sleep in all them different bedrooms every night. You can't even sleep in all them bedrooms at once.
Why does people feel like...
I enjoyed.
Why does people feel like that they have their opinion even matters? Why does people even feel like that they need to insert their opinion into what your house should look like when they're not paying for it or living in it?
Dude, if we answered that question, we'd be answering the question to why people care about things that don't matter to them no ways. People just are people, miserable.
Miserable people, and the jealousy definitely comes out in situations like this from other people.
Yeah.
You really see who the jealous people are in situations like this. But also going on in the world, ladies and gentlemen, since we last left you on the air, we were talking about the presidential election. It was too close to call. We still hadn't had a winner. Well, now most media outlets, CNN, the AP, and most others, pretty much everyone, has declared and projected Joe Biden to be the 46th president of the United States. He is now President-elect Biden. It was announced last Saturday, 4 days removed from Election Day, and there was still states that were too close to call, Pennsylvania being one of them, Georgia being another one, Arizona being another one, North Carolina being another one. Well, when Pennsylvania turned blue, and that pretty much was all she wrote, because it was almost impossible for Trump to catch up after losing Pennsylvania. That didn't stop President Trump from being Trump. He did not concede the election, as I don't think that's a shock to anybody that he didn't concede the election, but he did file a number of lawsuits in multiple states, including Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. I don't really know what's going to happen there. I don't think that the possibility of getting 4 or 5 states to overturn their decision is in the realm of possibilities of a realistic thing to happen.
I mean, stranger things have happened this year, so I won't make any predictions.
It's 2020. Anything could happen. But let's just move on into more of a peaceful, more of a calm, I don't know really what I'm trying to say. All I'm trying to say is this. President Biden won the election. And whether or not it was corrupt, whether or not there was corruption going on, we have to believe in the democracy that we have here in this country. And we have to believe that our voting system works.
We do.
I do not think that this absentee ballot should remain as frivolous as it was this year.
No.
I think that you really need to be out of town and absent from the polls in order to request an absentee ballot. I think that if you're not able to go to the poll on election day, you shouldn't be able to vote, or you shouldn't vote. Unless,
well, I don't know about not being able to vote. I mean, that is our constitutional right. But I do think that, we've had an entire year now of seeing what a pandemic has done to us in a very crucial time, it being the presidential election. 2024, we need to have a plan to where, if we need to have polling locations open for the entire month of October, as we did in 2020, I think that was a great option. We had no issues whatsoever getting in and getting out. But I do agree with you that the frivolous passing out of the mail-in ballots, I feel like we've had more issues with that than kind of what it was worth. Mm-hmm. But we do need to fix our system to make sure that everyone has the chance to voice their opinion.
It's got to change. There's got to be some type of revision there.
Yes.
If you're in the military, if you literally are going to be out of town, there needs to be some steps and ways that you prove that you're going to be out of town. You just don't request an absentee ballot and say, oh, well, I don't feel like waiting in line. That's not how it was set up. I can get behind early voting as long as it's at a poll. As long as it's at a poll. I think the only way we're going to keep people from saying that elections are corrupt is unless we go back to the old way. Now, if people start saying, well, the poll itself is corrupt, then there's no fixing it. Because
we've been back to the punch cards.
Right. So all I'm saying is there's just got to be some revision. But according to the media and most media outlets, President Joe Biden will be the 46th president of the United States. He is now president-elect. And President-elect Biden, he made his unofficial victory speech. Mm-hmm. And he preached in his victory speech that he wants unity. And he says that this country has been very divided and he wants unity to happen. I have to agree with that. This country is very divided. Very divided. And I don't know if we can put all that blame on Donald Trump, and I don't know if we can look at Joe Biden as a cure-all for this.
No.
But we as a country, we have to do something to be more united here in these United States than what we are, because the division is sad.
It is very sad. And, we've seen throughout this election, we've seen families break apart. We've seen, year long friendships, years and years just crumble over difference of opinion. And I just think that maybe we need to go back to a world where maybe religion and politics were taboo things that we talked about. Not because they don't need to be talked about, but because everyone has the right to their own opinion. And sometimes opinions, are like butts. We all have one. It's just not to the point that they're breaking us apart.
President-elect Biden also said that there's a lot of work to be done, and that starts with controlling COVID-19. There is talk of a COVID-19 vaccine that it's supposed to be 90% working. I am not a fan of putting something that has only been on the market for a couple months in my body. I am not going to take the vaccine if it is offered. I am going to have to wait 5 or 6 years down the line before I even think about putting something like that into my body. But here in America, you really can't say, oh, that's a requirement. But how they get around that is health insurance companies will say, if you don't get the vaccine, we won't insure you. And that's perfectly legal. So I hope that it don't come to that. I hope that we have an administration that would be opposed to a required vaccine. What are your thoughts?
Well, I won't comment too much because I am public health, and I try to keep my personal opinions away from I guess what I learn and what I study. What I will say is that we do need to build a herd immunity in our communities to make sure we are protecting those that are of the vulnerable status. And I think that we do have a very good system with the FDA. We've got checks and balances, just as government does in the scientific world. And I think that if we are getting a 90% effective, I think that's a great improvement for us. I think I'll leave it at that.
Well, President-elect Biden, I keep saying Biden. I sound like Sarah Palin back in 2008. I don't know why. I've never called him Biden before.
You got Obama on the brain?
I've got Obama on the brain. I do. But President-elect Biden, he moves into the White House on January 20th, 2021, which just so happens to be my 33rd birthday. But the transition will be interesting, to say the least. I don't think it's going to be your traditional transition from an old president to a new president. And this one's a little unique, because it is a little awkward when you got somebody in there that got beat in the election that has to move you in. That's not happened since Clinton and H.W. Bush back in the early 90s. But usually these 2 months before January 20th they use these 2 months, they call that the transition process, where Trump is supposed to be showing Biden the ways and transitioning him into the White House. It's supposed to be smooth, but none of that is going to happen.
No.
It's going to be, they're literally probably going to have to escort Trump out of the White House. But Amber, here's the thing. Trump still hasn't closed the door on losing this election. He still thinks that the judges and the courts could overturn this and announce him the winner.
I mean, again, it's 2020 and crazier things have happened this year. I do know that Georgia has stated that they will do a physical recount by hand, I believe is what I read on a local news station. So obviously these states, I think, are taking it very seriously. And I think that's the only thing that we can ask, is that the people performing the recounts sincerely give us an accurate recount so we can move forward as a country.
Exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and we got lots more off the cuff coming at you live after these words. Stick with us.
Relax, the voice of the community. WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
Out from 3:30 to 5:30 Monday through Saturday, and include a school admission too. Parents may pick up one meal per day for each youth in their household. Meals are provided in partnership with God's Pantry Food Bank. For more information, visit us at www.lexplublive.org and follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Lex has the support of Doodle's Breakfast and Lunch. Locally owned and operated since 2009, Doodle serves locally sourced eggs, bacon, and more. A percentage of each Thursday's sales are donated to the Nest Center for Women, Children, and Families. Patio seating available spring through fall. Breakfast, lunch, and adult beverages are served Tuesday through Sunday from 8 to 2. Located at 3rd and Lime. You can learn more at doodleslex.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Ember is also joining me. President-elect Biden was talking about getting a hold on COVID-19. COVID-19 is still very much in existence. As a matter of fact, here in Lexington, numbers are at an all-time high. I was talking with someone earlier today that meets with the health department here in Lexington pretty regularly. And they were saying that with the way these numbers are growing, the way they are, eventually 1 out of every 10 person here in Lexington is going to have COVID. That's an astonishing number.
Sorry, Adam, I think we're having a little bit of lag on my end. But yes, I do agree. I think we've got a positivity rate of, I think, over 8% now. So again, that just kind of leads me back to the thing that I've been kind of saying this whole time is we've got to take these guidelines that are given to us by the CDC seriously. So again, we are protecting our vulnerable crowd, which we all have someone in that vulnerable crowd that we love and we would hate to see contract this, I'm going to say deadly virus, because I feel like if you are older and you get it, I feel like it is something that's very difficult for you to overcome.
Don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if there is a House Arrest Series Volume 10 very, very soon in the future. I could see the House Arrest Series happening again. There could be another shutdown in the winter if numbers continue to climb the way they are. But hopefully the Biden administration does get a hold on COVID-19, because I'm not the only one. I want to drop these masks. I want to get back to normal. I want to start packing out arenas, watching sporting events, and I want to hug all over everybody. I know that I shouldn't say I want to hug all over everybody, but you know what I mean.
Everybody? You want to hug all over everybody?
Not everybody, but you know what I mean.
I understand.
Jill Biden, not Joe, Jill, the First Lady, the future First Lady here in the United States, is going to be making history. And if you are an educator, it is a good day for you, because Jill Biden is in education. She actually worked as a college professor while she was while her husband, Joe Biden, was the vice president. And she says that she will continue to teach full-time as a community college faculty member. I think that's amazing. Being a college instructor myself, I find that very relatable. I find that outstanding that someone like that, Professor Flotus, decides that that's the coined name that she's been given, that she has decided to remain in her profession and teach during the duration of her husband's presidency. I think that's making moves in the world of work for women here in this country, and I think that's a huge opportunity. I think that's just amazing.
It sincerely is, and I have to say that takes a lot of guts for her to still try to continue her normal lifestyle. Because, again, you've told us all about how Secret Service is, so I can only imagine how difficult it probably has been, and there's probably been months and months of preparation going into her having this opportunity to still be able to do what she loves to do. So I think it's not only, a good step in the right move for education, but just like you said, I think it's a great move for women.
So, speaking of women, it's also it was an election. I don't want to say election night because the results wasn't announced on election night, but this election made history for women. There is now a woman in the White House who is in charge. She's the vice president of the United States, Kamala Harris. She found out that she was the vice president, so she called Joe Biden to let him know, and that phone call was recorded by Kamala Harris's husband, who I'll get to in just a second. But I wasn't a fan of the phone call. I thought it was very... Did you hear the phone call?
I did.
She said, "Hey, Joe, we did it. You did it. You gonna be the next president. You gonna be the next president." And I just pictured, it just sounded like somebody talking to a child, talking to a little bitty boy, is what it sounded like. And if Joe Biden was there, it's like he would have just took his little head and rested it on her shoulder and said, "Yeah, I'm going to be president, Kamala." That's what it sounded like to me. And for somebody who's going to be the leader of the free world, it scares me when I hear somebody like that talking like that to the president. Because could you ever hear Kamala Harris talking to Donald Trump like that if Donald Trump had been elected? She would never say, "Trump, you did it again. You got elected. Yay." But that's how it sounded.
I don't think anybody in Trump's life would feel comfortable enough to do that to him.
But that was just a little tangent that I wanted to get off on. But she will be the first woman vice president, the first black vice president, the first Asian American vice president, and the first Democratic vice president from the West Coast. So Kamala is a lot of first. A lot of first. 100 years this came after the 19th Amendment granted women the right to vote, and 55 years after the Voting Rights Act codified voting protections for black Americans. And it's also just over 52 years since Shirley Crimsole became the first black woman elected to Congress in 1968. Only 2 black women, including Harris, have been ever elected to the U.S. Senate, and no black woman has ever served as a state governor. So it's Kamala Harris has etched her name in history, and think about it. She reached a pinnacle that even Hillary Clinton couldn't reach.
Well,
And everybody thought that she was going to reach the top of the ladder, but nope, that went to Kamala Harris. She became the vice president.
it did, and she actually said something in her speech that she gave that I just thought was so uplifting. And I will say that's probably the first time she said something that I sincerely felt was uplifting. And she said, "I may be the first, but I will not be the last." And I think that just completely set a tone to show that, as a woman, we can be taken seriously. And I really do applaud her for that.
Yes, I think Kamala Harris means a lot to a lot of people. But I want to talk about her husband really quick, Doug Emhoff, he's also poised to break a lot of stereotypes. So in the Biden White House, the First Lady, she wants to keep her job as a college professor. We now have a woman as the Vice President. And now we have our very first second gentleman, I guess you would call him. It's never been before, so I don't think there's been a technical term coined for the spouse of a female who is in office in the presidency. But he, unlike President Biden's wife Jill, has decided that he is not going to work. He has decided that he is going to step down from his very powerful litigation firm and just be there to support his wife. He's not announced what kind of work he's going to be doing, but I think that Jill Biden is making you look really, really bad. Go out and get you a job, buddy. Quit living in your wife's, quit riding her coattails, and she's going to be busy. Don't look at this as a time for you to just cash in on a lot of money and to be on a vacation. But go out there and keep your practice. Or am I being out of line on that?
I was going to say, won't you just go ahead and tell us how you really feel, Banks? Go right ahead. Tell me how you really feel.
But again, you can look at it in a different way. A lot of the times, to be fair, you can look at it in a different way, because a lot of the times women are so quick to support their husbands with their jobs. They have to change everything about their lives.
Yes.
They have to move away. They have to take a step back from what they like to do so their spouse can be happy. And a lot of the times, it's always the woman doing that for the man. So you can look at it in a different perspective. Doug is actually stepping aside to support his wife and letting her live out her dreams.
And that's kind of how I was looking at it. I would be over the moon if Wiley did this for me. So I'm going to say Good job, Doug.
But I do wonder, though, if Doug's going to have a problem with his wife making more money than him, his wife being more powerful than him. Amber, that might sound silly, but it's not really silly, because you got to think these two people are married. They're still going to bed with one another. Is there going to be some type of psychological mental in their head, in his head, knowing that he is not the alpha male anymore in the relationship? He's really going to have to do something to put his alpha over the top, because he now is sleeping with the Vice President of the United States, which is a pretty powerful position.
I mean, the way that I'm going to look at it, and I think the way that some of our viewers can view it, is just think about Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. You know, Stephanie McMahon got to lay down every night with the game, but at the same time, he had to lay down every night with the owner. So I'm just going to maybe think their relationship's like that.
There is a lot of symbolism from a man stepping back from his high-powered career in order to support his wife. It's going to be interesting to see what he does while he is in the White House. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take Off the Cuffs Song of the Week break. I love this song. It's an oldie, but it's a great tune. Enjoy a little REM, Losing My Religion. We'll be right back after the song. Hey, Sean Powell, what's going on, my friend? All is well. Hope everything is good with you. Oh, Sean Powell, man, I'm so sorry. I know how that feels, buddy. I know how that feels. I lost my memo in 2016. Think about her every day. It's one of those things, and Amber talks about her memo every day of her life. I mean, it's just one of those things. It definitely hits different when you lose a grandparent. Shannon, welcome back, Shannon. I haven't seen you on the show thread in a minute. Dementia, man, that's tough. How old was she? It's an oldie, but it's a good one. I absolutely love that song. It's a song that's been stuck in my head for a week, so I had to make it off the cuff song of the week for this week. I was thinking about creating a YouTube playlist and going back and putting every song that I've played as the off the cuff song of the week and every song that we've used for intro music to introduce each segment. I've been thinking about putting together like a YouTube playlist on the Off the Cuff YouTube channel and just naming it Off the Cuff Music. That way, if you like a song and
I would be down for that.
yeah, and you don't really know the name of it, just know that it will be added to the Off the Cuff playlist. That's a pretty good idea, don't you think?
I think that's a great idea.
I think so too. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another break. We got lots more Off the Cuff coming at you live after these words. We will be right back.
Hey, my name is Deborah Logan Lawson, and I am with Conversations Around the Table. You are listening to Radio Lex, the voice of the people, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
It's fall. Fayette County residents and single-family homes with city waste collection have multiple options for disposing of leaves. Each week, the city will empty your yard waste carts and collect yard waste bags. This weekly service is supplemented by once-a-year leaf vacuum service. More details, including dates on when vacuum trucks will be in your neighborhood, can be found at lexingtonky.gov/leaves.
Have you been treated unfairly in housing? To know your rights, contact the Lexington Human Rights Commission. It's our goal to provide a quick resolution to your housing complaint. We're here to listen and help educate.
Now, 89 is a long life, though. And eventually, if you live to be over your 90s, I think you get everything. You're going to catch something.
859-252-4931. We're local and there is no cost for our services. The Lexington Human Rights Commission. Your choice, your right, your home.
Hey, this is Lane with Life in the Fast Lane. Tune in on Fridays from 1 to 2 p.m. as we play upbeat music to energize your day and provide thoughtful conversation so you appreciate what's happening around you.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Ember is also with me. 2020 has sucked. There's no shocker there. And to add on 2020 really just blowing, Alex Trebek dies at 80 years old. He passed away on November the 8th, and he announced back in March of 2019 that he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Very nasty, very ugly cancer to have, and he had stage 4. And stage 4 is the last stage that you can have before death. And when you're at stage 4, it's not good. It doesn't look good. And Alex Trebek, the iconic game show host of Jeopardy, who did it for 37 years, has passed away. I don't think Jeopardy, the game show itself, will be the same. American culture will always remember that iconic soundtrack of his voice overlapping with every question that was asked. There are certain game shows that I think can't go on without the host. Price is Right. Bob Barker died. Yeah, we didn't want to lose Bob Barker, but we knew that somebody else could take that gig. Wheel of Fortune, we don't want to lose Pat Sajak, but we know that somebody else can take that gig. Jeopardy, can somebody else really take over Jeopardy and be as loved and as watched as what Alex Trebek was, Amber?
I don't know about loved and watched, but I do feel like Alex Trebek has. I feel like he has picked his successor. Ken Jennings has been rumored. I think a few times they had said he could think about coming and doing some things, and I know they had Ken in a couple of different specials that they've done. So I think he has built a platform for someone with that type of knowledge, because it's not just a game show. He sincerely knew the knowledge that he was asking of his contestants. So it's going to take someone extremely special to come on there. You've got to have someone who's got the right attitude and has that skill set to be able to ask questions that the normal person doesn't know.
The wit and just the way he would articulate his words. I hope whoever they get is someone smart and someone who projects smart. Ken Jennings would be a good example of someone who would be a good replacement, because you know he's smart for a fact, and he projects smart, he seems smart. You cannot hire a host who makes a lot of error. You can't.
Steve Harvey, this ain't the job for you.
I love Steve. Steve Harvey's great.
Yes.
But Jeopardy, it would be the worst for him. It would not be a good fit. He is right where he needs to be, Family Feud. And yes, we all know him messing up many times during the Miss America pageant. But yes, it's something that I don't know if you can replace an iconic host who came into your living room every single day, Monday through Friday, and you get used to that. CBS CEO of Sony Pictures, Tony Vinciquerra, he said in a statement, "For 37 amazing years, Alex was that comforting voice, that moment of escape and entertainment at the end of a long, hard day for millions of people around the world. He was the heart and soul of Jeopardy, and he will always be deeply missed by everyone who made him part of their lives." I don't think that you can...
I think there had been a video circulating around of a gentleman who actually won, and he, instead of thanking his family, he thanked Alex Trebek. Because of him, he learned how to speak English, and here he was on the same show. He learned the language from winning, and I think he took home over 20,000 that day. So Alex Trebek did a lot, not only for entertainment, but I think for just overall educational value throughout the entire world.
Alex said that his job gave him quality of life. And I've always talked about, even on this show, that retirement is the #1 cause of death. If you do what you love, why quit it? Well, you don't have to retire if you're doing what you love. Alex Trebek had a job that you don't really retire from. You retire from hard labor positions. You retire from things like that. Going underground and working in the coal mine for 40 years. You retire and live comfortably after that. When you are the host of Jeopardy, and keep in mind, I think Alex only worked like 15, 16 days a year. I think that's all they filmed. They caught all of their filming up within 16 days. But he filmed Jeopardy pretty much all the way up into his death. As a matter of fact, he died in November 8th. His last taping date was October the 29th. So he worked all the way up until he was dead. And when filming took a hiatus, he died on that hiatus. So working can sometimes give you that quality of life that you do need. And sometimes retiring isn't always the best option for you to go through with. But it is something that we're going to miss Alex very much. I know I will. And I wish that I had the video, the audio queued up of when, because Alex had a great sense of humor. And there was a woman that came on his show and was talking about, how Alex used to go and ask people a little bit about themselves. He used to ask them, where are you from? What do you like to do? And he asked one woman what she liked to do, and she said that she liked to listen to nerd hip-hop, and it was kind of like just where nerds would rap about the things that they like. Maybe gaming conventions or not being able to find a romantic partner. And Alex looked at her and said, "You mean losers, in other words." And
oh my my word.
And it shocked me. It really did. And I was like, wow, because you don't hear somebody that polished and that put together be like that. But Alex Trebek, we lost a legend.
I always enjoyed when they made him read the rap. You know, they would make him like read through the rap lyrics and they'd be like, name this artist. I always enjoyed that because he just seems so out of place.
And he always did it flawlessly too, without messing up.
Yes, sometimes better than the actual rapper.
But CBS itself, they're making some changes over there. Did you hear that they are requiring here in the future for their 2021 season that they're going to be requiring at least 50% of all of their casts for reality shows to be non-Caucasian.
Okay.
They want at least 50% of the contestants that's in game shows or reality shows to be 50% non-white. It says that they need to increase their diversity, and one of the ways to do that is by putting more people of color on their programming. Thoughts on that?
Well, I just, for some of these reality shows that we have, was there not a criteria before that you had to meet? I just want to know why we've deviated from like a checklist. If you're going to have, I don't know, maybe Survivor, you need people who have certain skill sets. I just want to know why we've deviated from the skill set having to now we have to worry about, coloring of our skin. I understand that we have to have equality, and equality is something that we've desperately needed for so long, but we don't need to intermix equality with skill sets, because that's where we're going to have this great division of, well, now it doesn't matter how good I am at something, the color of my skin is going to determine, what happens. And I know that's very easy for me to say because I am a Caucasian female, but at the same time, I understand how stigmas can hurt. And I think that we need to stick with the checklist.
And it is a fine line of equality and segregating too, because they are picking and choosing based off the color of people's skin. They're saying that 50% of non-whites can't participate on this show or this reality show. Well, what if the white contestant is more talented than the black contestant? What if the white contestant is more intelligent than the black contestant? Are they only going to choose the black contestant because they are black and the person is white? I don't think that, and you're talking about, yes, we have to increase the diversity, but how is that fair? How is that fair? It's like jobs. Most jobs are equal opportunity employers. Most jobs want to increase their diversity. They want to have a certain percent of white people, a certain percent of black people, a certain percent of Asian people. Well, don't you think that the best person for the job should get the job and the color of their skin shouldn't even be considered? Or are we at a point to where we have to consider the color of their skin to make sure that we do have enough diversity?
Again, I think if we start deviating away from who's the better person for the task at hand, I feel like that's going to cause an even greater division than what we already have.
Could. Very well could. But ladies and gentlemen, we got one more segment here on Off the Cuff. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back to talk about it after these words.
Stay home, cover your cough. It's our new reality with COVID-19, and that means calling ahead instead of going directly to a doctor or hospital if you're sick. It means being more patient. We're all in this together, and we all have a role in preventing the spread. So, prepare, focus on the essentials, protect, keep some space from people outside your home, and disinfect a lot. Get the facts at kycovid19.ky.gov. Prepare, protect, disinfect.
Radio Lex has the support of Doodle's Breakfast and Lunch. Locally owned and operated since 2009, Doodle serves locally sourced eggs, bacon, and more. A percentage of each Thursday's sales are donated to the Nest Center for Women, Children, and Families. Patio seating available spring through fall. Breakfast, lunch, and adult beverages are served Tuesday through Sunday from 8 to 2. Located at 3rd and Lime. You can learn more at doodleslex.com.
The ones that hate me the most are just like me. You tell me what that means. Make a slick comment and see what they're...
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also joining me. Last segment of the hour. The first black woman to be crowned Miss Mississippi is now the reigning Miss USA Asia Branch. She is a student at the University of Mississippi and a Boonville native. And she was crowned Miss USA on Monday after the coronavirus pandemic delayed the event by several months. She's going to go on to represent the U.S. in the Miss Universe pageant. But Amber, the thing that I find very disappointing about this Miss USA pageant is that this new chairwoman that they've got, Gretchen Carlson, and she was a former Miss America winner herself in 1989, but she has decided that the Miss America or the Miss USA pageant will no longer do a swimsuit competition. And she says the reason because of this. She says, we will no longer judge our candidates on their outward physical appearance. That means we will no longer have a swimsuit competition. I find that very disappointing. I don't understand why they have to take out the swimsuit competition because it's been around for years. Why not have another type of pageant or another type of competition and not call it Miss USA? Part of the Miss USA is a physical appearance. Nobody wants to put an ugly woman representing us during the Miss Universe pageant because I guarantee you a lot of the people in the universe aren't sending out ugly people, and they're not sending her out there based off of her intelligence.
So hang on, let me make sure I'm not putting words in your mouth. You'd rather have somebody who can't form a sentence like poor Miss North Carolina a few years ago, God love her soul. You would rather have someone like that than someone who you don't feel is physically attractive? Is that what I'm picking up on? Because I'm hoping that's not.
You are incorrect. I don't think that they should remove the swimsuit competition completely from the competition. I think that it still needs to be added into the score because it's no longer added into the score. They're judging the contestants on their talent. They're doing a private interview, they're doing an on-stage interview, and then they judge them based off their red carpet and social impact statement. So I don't know what that means. But yeah, the swimsuit competition is no more. And that was my favorite part of the competition. That was my favorite part.
Of course it's your favorite part, but I'd say a lot of us women are pretty fine with that. We're good with it. Our evening gowns will show you exactly how beautiful we are. We ain't got to show you our bare skin for you to understand. And this is coming from someone who, as an active weight loss influencer, will constantly show my body. We don't need to do that. If you're going to represent our country, you need to be smart and you need to be beautiful, and your bikini ain't going to determine either one of those.
Okay, so interesting you say that. Okay. Now, I don't know if you were aware of this, but did you know that there was a Mr. United States pageant?
I was not, and I intended on.
Okay, so you don't know what a Mr. United States pageant is. So, do you think that the Mr. United States pageant should judge the contestants off of their swimsuit, or do you think that should be eliminated as well?
I don't need to see your banana hammock to know that you look good in a suit. I guess that's the easiest way I can say it.
Mr. United States pageant has not followed suit with the Miss Universe pageant. They do have a swimsuit competition. This is how their scoring goes. 35% is a private interview. 20% is community platform. 15% is swimwear and fitness. 15% is runway fashion. And 15% is formal wear. That fitness swimwear has to be in there, don't it? They have to add that in there. And you know that they're going to judge these people based off what they look like on the runway, not their clothes. And they're going to base it off how they walk and things like that. Isn't that a physical appearance? I think there's just a double standard there with how people look at men and women. Why is it okay
I think you're creating a double standard because as a woman, I sincerely do not need to see a man. I don't need to see you. A lot of us women, we don't need to see you. But if you're going to constantly, just as women do, if you're going to constantly come out, yeah, we're going to look at you because you're there, you're in my face. But I don't need to determine if you're a good candidate to I guess, represent my country by whether or not your pectoral muscles, show out real good.
Well,
I don't need to see that.
You say that I'm creating the double standard. It's not me. It's them. It's the people who put this pageant on. Why do they not say, hey, it's not fair for these men to have to take off their shirts and put on swim trunks? Listen here. The fitness swimwear scoring criteria. Remember I said it was 15%. Let me dive in a little bit deeper as to what they look into when they're looking into a fitness swimwear for the man competition during the Mr. United States. They look at his attractiveness and his presence. It says, can he be the face of the organization in the lifestyle industry is what they're trying to look for. They are looking at the lifestyle statement of strong physical health. Is the contestant toned, firm, and physically fit? They're looking at the contestant's modeling ability. Does he exhibit good posture? Does he walk with poise and confidence? And then they're also looking at his overall presentation. Does he exhibit energy, charisma, self-composure, and an attractive expression? That's vain for vanity's sake, for crying out loud, people. So if you're going to sit here and take off the swimsuit competition for the women, you got to do it for the men.
Take it out, buddy. We don't even need it. Take it on.
So are you just saying it so it will support your argument for the women?
No,
or are you really okay with the swimsuits being eliminated from the Mr. United States pageant?
I'm going to be so real with you right now. Like, this is me just being my real self. I didn't even know there was a U.S. men's pageant, so that shows you how much I cared about it to begin with. So I literally don't care either way. Put your clothes on, take your clothes off. I ain't watching it no way. So
see, I think I could do really good in the Mr. United States pageant, except for the swimwear, because when I took off my shirt, they would probably mistake my ribs as abs, and then they're going to be like, this guy does not have the toned, fit body that we're looking for to represent our organization.
You're silly.
But yeah, so there is a Mr. United States pageant. I didn't know if people knew that. But yeah, I was a little disappointed when I heard that they're taking away the swimsuit during that, or the swimsuit category during the Miss United States. It's a sad day.
I'll let you have that one.
But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time for Off the Cuff to wrap things up. You can listen to all of our previous episodes on our podcast, on the Off the Cuff with Adam Banks podcast, by going to iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever podcasts are listened to. You can download the Radio Lex app on your smartphone device to listen to new episodes every Thursday from 4 to 5. You can follow the co-host Amber on all social media platforms at Ambu447. You can follow me, the host, on all social media platforms at The Adam Banks. You can follow Off the Cuff on Instagram and Facebook by going to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Ember Turner. I'm Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. We will see you next Thursday from 4 to 5. Have a great week.